Hi guys, thank you for purchasing the diet plan. As you can see here, this is one of the diet templates. Things to notice, you have your meal times, then you have your lean protein sources in red, your vegetables in green, your healthy fats in kind of a brown color, we'll say, the healthy carbs listed in the orange box. Note those are the grams of carbs, not the weight of the actual food. And then in blue is your workout carbs. For each of your meals, you'll see a recommended meal time. For most of your meals, you do have a cushion of about 30 minutes to an hour on either side of the listed meal time. The main exception being that first meal post-workout. You really want to get that meal consumed within about 30 to 45 minutes of finishing exercise. Other meal times that are kind of more important would be your last meal of the day, which you should have just before bedtime, preferably about 30 to 45 minutes before you go to sleep. And that first meal of the day, you want to take that in within an hour of waking. For your lean protein, the weights listed on your template are actually based off of the raw weight of the meat. But if you would rather weigh your meat cooked, because it is easier and more sanitary, that's completely fine. You just want to be consistent. So if you weigh your lean protein cooked every time while you're on the plan, that's completely fine. A general rule of thumb, the cooked weight is about 2/3 of what the raw weight would be. Egg whites or an egg substitute do count as a lean protein source. They're actually a great lean protein source as they are completely fat-free. When trying to figure out how much of the egg white or the egg substitute you need, check out the nutritional label of the egg substitute and it will tell you what a serving size is, and that would be equivalent to 1 egg white. So I did a little math problem here for you. As you can see, 3 tablespoons is equivalent to 1 egg white. As the template says, 2 egg whites are equivalent to 1 ounce of lean meat. The template that we're using in this little presentation requires 3 ounces of lean meat, which would be 6 egg whites. So 6 egg whites times 3 tablespoons gives us 18 tablespoons of the egg substitute. 16 tablespoons in a cup. We do the math and come up with 1 1/8 of a cup of egg substitute. If you want to do 1 1/4 of a cup because it's easier to measure, that's fine. Also in the lean protein category are whey protein powders and casein protein powders. These two protein powders are distinctly different. Whey protein is a very rapidly digesting protein, whereas casein is a very slow digesting protein. Whey protein is ideal for during and immediately post-workout. It'll be rapidly absorbed by the digestive tract, delivered into the bloodstream, and sent to those muscles that are either working or just got done working. There, that protein can be used for muscle growth and repair to prepare your body for the next training session. Casein is very slowly digesting, which means it will provide a very gradual release of amino acids into the bloodstream. Amino acids are your building blocks for protein. So by providing this very slow release of amino acids at bedtime, your body has the building blocks for protein synthesis during rest, which we all know when you rest is when you see a great deal of muscle repair work occurring. So it's really important that you get a pure whey protein product for during and immediately post-workout and a pure casein protein product for bedtime. Getting a blend of the two proteins together is not recommended. Also, on your casein protein, be sure that it's very low in carbohydrates. Some manufacturers like to sneak those carbohydrates in, and most of you don't get carbs at bedtime. When looking at your protein powders, it is important to note that the amount listed in your meal plan is the grams of protein, not the grams of powder. So you're going to need to look at your individual protein product and do a little bit of math to figure out exactly how many grams of powder you'll need to get your specified grams of protein. Okay? In order to do this, what you want to do is you want to look at the grams of powder per scoop and then the grams of protein in each of those scoops. So in this example here, my scoop of protein has got 33 grams of powder and 25 grams of protein. So I want to take that 33 grams of powder, divide it by the 25 grams of protein per scoop, and that'll give me 1.3 grams of powder per 1 gram of protein. From there, I just look at my meal plan and see how many grams of protein I need to consume. For this particular day, I need to consume 20 grams of whey protein. So I'll take that 1.3 grams of powder times 20 grams of protein, which tells me I need to take in 26 grams of powder to get my 20 grams of whey protein. Just a side note here, feel free to mix your workout protein with your workout carbs. It's completely fine to put them both in the same shaker or water bottle, mix them together and go. For your vegetables, almost all of the veggies out there are going to be classified as a vegetable. The exceptions are going to be your high starch veggies, things like potatoes, peas, corn, that sort of thing. If you're wondering, is this vegetable considered in the green veggie column or should it be considered in the orange healthy carb column? Again, look at those nutritional facts. Your veggies will have less than 7 grams of non-fiber carbohydrates per 1 cup serving. What does that mean? It means look at the total carbs, subtract out the number of dietary fibers. If that number is 7 or less for 1 cup serving, it counts as a veggie. Here are just some comparisons of different veggies. All of these are 1 cup servings, and if you look across the board, you can see that when you subtract the dietary fiber from the total carbs, all of these have 7 grams of non-fiber carbs or less. To get this information, I went to calorieking.com. This is a really good website, has pretty much any food product you can think of, and it'll give you a complete breakdown of its nutritional facts. Now for the healthy fats. These are those yummy foods listed in the brown column. When you're looking for a serving of fat, you're looking for about 15 grams of fat or 1 serving of the healthy high-fat foods listed in that brown column. Here you can see we're comparing 3 different servings of fat. We have some whole cashews, some nut butter, and a half an avocado. Each one of these counts as a serving of fat, but you'll notice the total fat grams does vary slightly between the 3 products, and that's completely okay. You're just looking to get in about a serving of fat. If you're only allotted 1/2 of a serving of fat, you'd look at the serving size on each of these containers and just cut that in half. For the healthy carbohydrates, the amount listed on your template is the grams of carbohydrate we want you to consume, not the actual weight of the food. As you can see by our apple example here, this small apple has 25 grams of carbohydrates, but the apple itself weighs over 200 grams. When trying to determine the amount of food you need to take in to meet your recommended grams of carbohydrates, you want to look at the nutritional label on the product. The 2 things you want to notice are the size of a serving and the amount of carbohydrates present in that 1 serving. Something that I highly recommend doing for those healthy carbs that you eat on a regular basis is to weigh out a single serving. Okay? So for the pasta example, a single serving is 56 grams of dry pasta. So weigh out that dry pasta, cook it up, and then weigh it again. And we see that the 56 grams of dried pasta cooks up to 135 grams. Okay? So that means that 1 serving of pasta, which has 41 grams of carbohydrates, is equivalent to 135 grams of cooked pasta. Now, none of my meals called for 41 grams of carbohydrates. The meals in this template called for either 40 grams or 20 grams. So to figure out how much cooked pasta I need to meet my recommended amounts, I want to take the weight of my cooked pasta divided by the amount of carbohydrates that were present, and then that will give me my pasta to carb ratio. So I take that 135 grams of cooked pasta, divide it by the 41 grams of carbohydrates found in a serving, and that tells me that 3.3 grams of cooked pasta is equivalent to 1 gram of carbohydrates. From there, I'll just take that 3.3 grams times 40 or 20, depending on which meal I am getting ready to prepare, and I'll be able to weigh out the perfect amount of pasta to meet my nutrient needs. The final column on your template is the workout carbohydrates. These are high glycemic index carbohydrates. What that means is that these carbohydrates are rapidly digested and absorbed into the bloodstream so they can be delivered to those muscles that are working while you are exercising. Honey is not a recommended workout carb. The primary sugar found in honey is fructose, which is very slowly digesting. We want you to be taking in a rapidly digesting carbohydrate so it can be rapidly absorbed and delivered to those working muscles, which will allow you to work out harder at a more intense rate. When in doubt, look at the nutritional facts. For calories, if the food product has 5 calories or less per serving, such as vinegar if you're going to use that on your salads, or Crystal Light, diet soda, things like that, they're considered calorie-free, so you do not need to account for them in any part of your diet. When you're looking at the fats and trying to decide, is this product a healthy fat? Look at the amount of saturated fat. If there's little, as in 2 to 3 grams per serving of saturated fat, it's probably going to be considered a healthy fat. For the carbohydrates, when you're trying to determine, is this a healthy carb or is this a workout carb, look at the amount of sugar. Your healthy carbohydrates are going to be very low in sugar, less than 5 grams per serving. Your workout carbohydrates are going to be very high in sugar. You want most of the carbohydrates in that product to be sugar. For protein, when you're trying to figure out how much of this product counts towards your lean meats, 7 grams of protein is equivalent to 1 ounce of lean meat. Thank you.